Hi, everybody. Three exciting developments to share with you from the life of our church in this past week. You would have heard from Martin in his last video about our initiative, our response to the poor and the vulnerable as a church. I just wanted to share with you what's happened since then. A lot of this began a lot earlier, but really our coordinated response has started to take shape in the last 2 weeks. So since Martin's appeal to you last week, what has happened? Well, we've raised over 120,000 Rand for food and for masks, and it's just incredible, and you need to know about that. And most of that money has come through the church family. We've also had some wonderful corporate donations. One corporate donated 50,000 Rand. Another corporate has committed to providing for 270 food parcels that will go to vulnerable families in our Nokopila network. Another company has committed to giving us all the fabric we need for our masks, the masks that we are manufacturing at cost. So we've had a wonderful corporate response. Those corporate responses have come through the church family, and we've had a wonderful response from the church family itself. The thing I really want to highlight over and above the material response is the family response, the nature of how we as a redeemed family have come together over this thing. And I'm going to name names, so I'm going to ask those people to forgive me in advance. I'm going to name names. I'm not trying to rob you of your treasure in heaven. I'm not trying to rob you of your anonymity. I know all of you would prefer to remain anonymous. You're not looking for accolades. I'm going to name names because I want to give flesh and blood to this. I want us all to understand that these are just ordinary Christians cooperating, coming together to respond creatively to this crisis and to serve the poor. So it's the redeemed family in action. So let me talk about what's happened. If I leave off your name, I'll also issue an apology in advance. I know that there's some people who have been involved that I'm not going to name. Again, the point is not so much to highlight certain individuals. The point is to name some names in order to highlight the collective response and just how ordinary disciples have responded. So here we go. Jennifer Collett and Isabel McDougall, they've been working closely together to source and cut fabric for over 700 masks. Now, most of us can't even imagine what that's like, cutting 700 masks. Perhaps only our kids' workers are positioned to have some sort of sense of what it's like. They cut every week for crafts, but 700 masks, they've cut the fabric, they've sourced the fabric. They are cooperating with a small cooperative of ladies who then sew the masks together. Those ladies, we are paying those ladies a very competitive rate to do that. So we're keeping them in a job at a time when employment is so precious and scarce. Those ladies, as far as I understand it, are Tembisa based. They are located within the community. And so that's very exciting, that partnership. Yvette Langston has offered to supply us with fabric for the masks. Dikileri Mashejo, most of us, she's well known to most of us. We love her. She's part of the church family. She is our eyes and ears and feet on the ground in Tembisa. And she has partnered with the Department of Social Development to get a list of extremely vulnerable households that are hungry right now as I speak to you. And so we have a list of over 100 households that we are going to use this money to reach with food parcels, food vouchers, potentially. We're speaking to a local Checkers in that regard. James Pitt, Kathy Combrink, both of them have provided us with invaluable intelligence from their knowledge of conditions and the community in Tembisa. Renee McConaughey has offered she has an essential services driving permit. She's offered to drive if and when we need her to make deliveries and so on. One of our church members, long-standing church members, who actually now lives in Canada, has been following developments on Church at Home, and she has offered financial support. That's Adeshni Naidu. Many of you will know her. Sarah Cairns is coordinating this whole collaborative family effort. And I wanted just to rattle off those names and those initiatives to make this point, that we can be full of praise and thanksgiving to God for our redeemed family. A response with so many people involved and so many others I haven't mentioned, involved in different ways, in whatever capacity. A response where we can now be supporting 100 vulnerable households, 350 children through our Nokopila network, or those who are relying on food, and their households. It is time to stop and pause and praise God for what He's doing in and through us. In Sarah's words, there is no end to the masks or the food that we could provide at this point. It's a bottomless well of need from her assessment of the lay of the land. And so please keep it coming. Let's turn what is a remarkable start. This is just 1 week of work. What I've just described to you is the fruit of 1 week's coordinated effort. And so imagine what God can do. So let's get involved. The details are going to be attached to this video. The snap scan will be available to you. This money there are no overheads, so we're not paying salaries with this money. This money is going straight into food or into masks. And that's our commitment to you. So get involved, and let's turn what is a remarkable beginning into an absolute groundswell, into a movement of love and mercy and support for the vulnerable and the poor at this time. Let's keep living out our identity as a redeemed family. Second exciting thing I wanted to highlight for you was just to let you know that our Care and Crisis Center continues to gain traction, to gain momentum. The work is forging ahead there. Kathy Combrink, who's heading that up for us, has done a great deal of behind-the-scenes work. And you would have seen in the last couple of newsletters, and you'll be able to see on Facebook right now, that we are sending out a survey. That survey closes on the 7th of May. And what we are asking you to do between now and the 7th of May is send it around to anybody you know who lives in Midrand or its immediate surrounds. What we are trying to do is to make a careful scientific assessment of the pastoral counseling needs in our immediate community. We have a hunch, we have an inclination, we have an intuition, but we want to be a little bit more deliberate than that. So please, will you send out that survey, send out that survey to anyone you know in the Midrand area so that we can have an accurate assessment of what the needs are in our community, because those needs require specialized skills to respond responsibly. We can't just be generic counselors. The traumas are deep and complicated, and so we need specialized skills. We need specialized training for our counselors, and so we need to understand the need. So please, will you be part of making the Care and Crisis Center happen and making it into something that serves our community, because we are a redeemed family of servants on a mission. Last exciting thing I want to bring to your attention is under the banner of the Each One Reach One campaign, and can I say the feedback has been overwhelming. People are really reaching out to each other and connecting. And in that spirit, we want to push something new, which is we're calling it Opt-in. Opt-in is for anyone who is perhaps feeling a little bit isolated, a little bit disconnected at this time, and perhaps because of where they are in their journey, are not yet ready to join a life group. Now, you would have heard Martin say last week, we said every chance we get, join a life group. Folks, there is no substitute. Join a life group. You must join a life group. But we understand people are in different places in their journey, and maybe you're not ready. But we think there's an intermediate step. We think that you could simply join the WhatsApp group of your local life group. So you could opt into that, right? So you contact your the life group leader of the life group that is closest to you. You contact that leader. they will put you on the WhatsApp group. That WhatsApp group is not a formal commitment to be part of anything. It is really just connecting you to other Christians. You're going to get information about their life group meeting. You're going to get encouraging verses. You're going to get prayer requests. You can put up your own prayer requests. You're gonna see the banter that goes on in life groups. You're just going to be connected to another group of Christians. So there's nothing formal. There's nothing intimidating. It really is just a way of staying connected to other Christians at a time when we are perhaps isolated and disconnected. So opt in. All you do is you go on to our website. You'll be able to see you click on life groups. You'll be able to see the various life groups, their geography. You pick the one closest to you, and you get hold of that leader, and that leader will add you to their WhatsApp group. It's as simple as that. You'll be connected to a group of Christians who can pray for you, who can encourage you, and who can keep you walking on the road of discipleship. That's it for this week. Those 3 encouragements. And let's keep walking on. Let's keep walking as disciples of Jesus. Let's keep living out our identity as a redeemed family of servants on mission. Have a good week, everybody.